Uh, I'm in a place called Gosforth at the moment. So if anyone could tell me where Gosforth is without looking it up, that's where you'll know where I'm at in the country. Unfortunately, the team that plays up here aren't playing at home today, so that's the only clue for this. So um, we'll get into match week 23. A really, really good match week before we do the match week 24 predictions. Everton versus Spurs. That was at Goodison Park. That was the early kickoff from last week. Really good game. Richarlison obviously going back to his former club, bagging two. Obviously, Everton got back into the game. Both times they were down. So down 1-0 and then obviously down again 2-1. But Everton managed to nick a draw. Thoroughly deserved, I'd say. I don't think Spurs at this moment, my beloved, obviously, at this moment in time, set pieces are a bit of an Achilles heel. I don't think we've dealt with that very, very well. Everton are just doing what they're doing to survive, and obviously set pieces being one of the main outlets for them, it yields. And we got caught twice. Even though there's no protection for the goalkeepers, so to speak, this season, I don't think we can complain too much. Good to see the likes of Maddison back, though, like full flow, of course. Now that Spurs have got everyone back, obviously Sonny coming back, Basuma back, Sar's back. Lo Celso, I heard, is in training at the moment, so he's 50-50 touch and go. No, it's good to see. So this is going to be the real Spurs, and then we're going to see where we end up this season. I'm still sticking with my prediction of being in the top four, potentially even higher. And yeah, who knows? I mean, why can't we go for the league? I mean, we are technically still in it. We're in a race. Yeah, let's see what happens. No Europe, no distractions, just all league. We'll see where we go. On to the Amex. Brighton 4, Crystal Palace 1. Formality result, that one. Brighton, obviously, with a disappointing loss to Luton last time out at Kenilworth Road. At the Amex, they're a different kettle of fish. They do grill teams at Brighton. Done it to us, done it to Luton, now done it to Palace, all of them by 4 goals. Yeah, really, really good from them. Palace obviously in problems at the moment. Fans unrest, a lot of discontent at the moment. Not happy with the way the club is being run at the minute. I wouldn't necessarily say that the anger is aimed at Hodgson, but yeah, it is what it is. The squad is not as good as it could be. Elise obviously injured again. That whole debacle last week was, sorry, not last week. Yeah, that whole debacle last week was incredible. So Elise is now going to be out for another 2 to 3 months with a hamstring problem, which never was in the first place. Problems. On the other side of the scale, Brighton. Very, very hot and cold. Of course, they are going down to London this weekend. They are coming to visit us. We owe them one. And I fully predict us to get a W there, which I'll obviously get into a bit later on. Newcastle 4, Luton Town 4. That was my game of the week last week from St James's Park. I knew there'd be goals. I wasn't expecting this. Luton actually were 4-2 up at one point, and then Newcastle obviously put on a comeback and drew the game 4-4. Luton could have then went on to go and win it. Really mad game. Really, really mad game. And Luton are slowly but surely making me a believer. I think Luton can do this. I really do. I'm in that camp now. I think Luton can actually do something. I think they could pull it off. If they could stay in this league with that squad, my God. Newcastle still are on the downward trajectory for me. I don't know with Newcastle, to be honest. I mean, they've got a really decent squad, but they do have a lot of injuries, to be fair, and a lot of key players that are obviously suspended, Tonali being the main one there. Burnley 2, Fulham 2. I had this down as a Burnley win because I thought at home, you know, fighting for survival, you show a little bit of grit, show a bit of fight. Which they did in fairness. They did come back from 2-0 down, but it's the conceding of the goals first. Burnley do play some really, really good football, but they can't outplay every single team in this league. Fulham showed them that in the first half, got absolutely bullied, were second to everything, gave away 2 sloppy goals as well. But then got back into the game, scored a couple of really good goals themselves, and maybe could have went on to go and win it, which I thought they should have. But Fulham in the end held on for a point. Really valuable point for both teams in the context of the league this season. Sheffield United 0, Aston Villa 5. That was from Bramall Lane. Not much more really to say other than Sheffield United are probably going to get relegated this season. Have been saying it all season pretty much. I don't see them pulling up any trees with regards to any of the other results that they've got coming up. Aston Villa still in the top 4. Usurped us now. We're now currently 5th after our draw, but Aston Villa back in the top 4 now because of that result. Really, really, really decent from them. Douglas Luiz for me, man of the match. Outrageous pass through the middle. literally like a hot knife through butter onto Ollie Watkins' right foot, and Watkins did the rest. Another goal for him. Manchester United 3, West Ham 0. Little bit of a shock, all things considered. West Ham do like to go to certain other grounds and obviously cause upsets, but can't do it at the home in Manchester now. But it's fine. West Ham obviously well beaten, soundly beaten. I still know there's a bit of discontent in the Man United ranks. Not sure if things will get better for them. They are picking up a few good results, obviously, because the squad they have should be a lot better than what it's been. So I guess we shouldn't be too shocked by the result, considering they've had poor results prior. But this one just felt like it was a walk in the park, a little bit of a training session. West Ham didn't really lay a glove on them. And Man United pretty much just picked them off at the right times, hit him on the counter a couple of times as well. And West Ham just couldn't live with the pace at the back. Chelsea 2, Wolverhampton 4. Shock of the weekend? I'm not sure. Chelsea are not a full article. The manager, obviously, I know the manager very well. He's under big pressure. So this would have mounted the pressure on him a lot more. I know, obviously, Chelsea knocked Aston Villa out of the FA Cup this week, resoundingly in Birmingham. But this is a bad result. Bad result for Chelsea. Cunha getting a hat-trick at Chelsea. I think he became the 4th player in history to get a hat-trick at Stamford Bridge. I think it's him, Aguero. Cannot remember for the life of me the other 2. There's another 2 in there, and I can't remember who they are. But yeah, soundly beaten. Weren't in the game from the minute. Even when they got the first goal, were not in the game. Their first goal came against the run of play. Wolverhampton literally played them off the park. Tore them apart. From the off. And Cunha's a player that I really like. He reminds me a lot of Dembele with regards to his ball retention and his skill, and he can obviously beat a man. And I'd really love if we got Cunha. We can obviously use him as a auxiliary attacking midfielder, even as a striker, or even do what we did with Dembele, convert him into a centre midfielder and just absolutely kill midfields. I think he's got the capabilities to do it. And I think that's something worth looking into. Wolves running out 4-2 winners at Stamford Bridge. Bournemouth 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Didn't see that game, unfortunately. Obviously, no, it was a 1-1 draw. Not much I could really comment on that one, but I would say it's probably looking like a fair result considering both clubs' recent form. Keeps them both afloat as well, of course. Nottingham Forest way down, sort of by the relegation zone. Bournemouth, I think, are obviously safe. Got enough there, I believe. I think they've amassed enough points to obviously kick on and obviously get to that magic 40 spot. On to the Emirates. Arsenal 3, Liverpool 1. Calamity game. Calamity. A lot of people that would say 2 of the best centre-backs in the league in Saliba and Van Dijk. Calamitous. This came down to individual mistakes in the end, and Liverpool made more of them. That's literally all it is. Arsenal deserve winners, I would say. They could celebrate as much as they want, to be quite honest. I mean, they won a really decent game against a very good side who are top of the league. Not that I don't, condone what Jamie Carragher said, because it's funny. But Arsenal should be allowed to obviously celebrate how they want. It's not like they're going to be celebrating at the end of the season anyway, so let them have this. It's fine. They ain't going to win the league this season. We know that. But a good result for them nonetheless. Liverpool, very sloppy, very short with their style. Their style usually sort of on the front foot, very rock and roll, literally just punching through midfields. Couldn't do that. Couldn't get passes off. Couldn't string about 3 passes together. Didn't have a shot on target in the first half. Their goal was an own goal as well. So that literally tells you everything you need to know about how bad Liverpool were. Arsenal, on the other hand, very good. You're not going to hear me say much nice things about Arsenal, but credit where due. They absolutely smashed Liverpool first half. Second half was a bit more of an even game, of course. Liverpool chasing the second goal. Obviously go on and try to win the game and kill it. But Arsenal had other ideas and other plans and obviously killed them on the break. Pace killed them in the end. Van Dijk and Alisson getting into a horrendous mess for the second goal. And then for the third goal, pretty much the same 2 players at fault again. So not Van Dijk's finest hour. But yeah, is what it is. Was what it was, and Arsenal are back on the trail for this potential Premier League, which we know but they're not going to win. Final game was on the Monday Night Football. That's from the G-Tech Stadium. That was Brentford 1, Manchester City 3. Phil Foden hat-trick. His first in the Premier League, I believe. No, it isn't. It's his second. He got a hat-trick last season, I believe, as well, at the same time Haaland did. I think they beat someone 6-2 or something like that. Excellent. Phil Foden is excellent. Kevin De Bruyne is excellent. Without those two, I think Manchester City are in big problems. At least one of them's been available, and Phil Foden's been carrying that team in both Haaland and De Bruyne's absences. Really good. Really good for Manchester City. Even though Brentford took the lead again through Neil Maupay. Really good goal as well, I will say. But it's almost like Brentford need not to celebrate too hard because they know they're going to concede. And Man City do punish you, and they absolutely punish them in the second half, especially. Literally like death by 1,000 cuts. That's how Manchester City get you. They will pass you to death, and obviously once you're in that zone, there's no getting out of it. They will punish you, and so it stood. Manchester City play such fluid football as well, especially through the midfield. They don't even play out at the back these days. They kind of just from goalkeeper all the way up to midfield. Rodri gets it up, puts his head up. De Bruyne, Foden, Bernardo Silva, whoever's on the pitch at the time in those sort of front 3-4 areas, yeah, it's a wrap for you. And yeah, they found out Brentford the hard way. Anyway, that was the roundup for Matchweek 23. We go to Matchweek 24 predictions. We start off with Manchester City versus Everton. That's kicking off in about an hour's time. It's of course a Manchester City win. I'm going to go 3-0 there as well. Wolverhampton versus Brentford from Molineux. That is a Wolverhampton win for me. I will go with a 2-1 win there. But Ivan Toney will get on the score sheet for Brentford as he is on a bit of a roll at the moment. Fulham versus Bournemouth. That is from Craven Cottage. That's got a 2-2 draw written all over it for me. Lots of yellows on that one for me as well. I'm going to go Jefferson, Lerma and... Oh, no, hang on. No, not Jefferson. Lerma's gone to Palace. I'm going to go, Paulinho for Fulham. And Bournemouth, it depends if Alex Scott plays. I'll go for Alex Scott as well. Dominic Solanke also likes a yellow too, to be fair. My beloved Spurs, obviously we welcome Brighton. I'm going to go with a 3-1 home win there. And we do owe Brighton a beating as well after what they did to us at the Amex. Luton Town versus Sheffield United from Kenilworth Road. That's 3 points to Luton. Another dub there for them. 3-0, I'm going to go that one. Liverpool versus Burnley. That is from Anfield. Liverpool, formality win there. Will bounce back from last week. Obviously, will be without Konate. He got a red card. I still think Liverpool will have too much for Burnley, and I think a 3-0 win will be happening there. Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle is the last game of the day today. That's the evening kickoff at the City Grounds. Ooh, draw. I do believe Chris would be on the score sheet there as well, as he was a couple of months ago when he went to St James's and beat them. 2-2 draw for me. Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle there. West Ham versus Arsenal is part of Super Sunday. That is from the London Stadium. I'm going to go for West Ham 2-1 win. Arsenal went there and lost last season as well. That's how they lost the league. That they weren't in for 93% of the season. Yeah, West Ham 2-1. Not an easy place to go. The London Stadium, as Arsenal know, and I think West Ham will come out on top there. Aston Villa versus Man United, complete Super Sunday. That's from Villa Park. I'm going to go with a slight Aston Villa win. They too owe Manchester United after their game at Old Trafford a couple of months back, where Aston Villa were 2 goals up, and then Man United came back and beat them 3-2. I think Aston Villa get their revenge, especially after a shocking display against Chelsea midweek. Final game of the weekend, it's Crystal Palace versus Chelsea. That's Monday Night Football. Tough game to gauge. Both teams are not in thrilling form in the league. Palace under the lights always problematic. Chelsea, I don't think, have the players to overcome that. It's a pressure game. And I don't want to call it because I don't know how. I'll go for a draw just to be safe. I'm sitting on the fence on that one. We'll go with a draw, 1-1. Yeah, we'll go for 1-1 draw. That's the weekend roundup. Yeah, I'm going to go back and enjoy what I was doing. Yeah, try to enjoy your weekends. Enjoy all the football you can. Watch as much sport as you can. Give yourself a break. And I'll see you next week in a bit.